For the last few years, the Village Church has participated in the church calendar. And the church calendar is a tool that the church has used for thousands of years that shapes and molds the practices and the emphasis of the church in certain seasons. So you have the season of Advent, and then Advent that kind of looks forward to the coming of Jesus Christ at Christmas time. And that gives way to Epiphany, and Epiphany then becomes about the manifestation of the glory of Christ to the Gentiles. And then from there, we move into what's called Lent. And I want to talk, the purpose of this video is just to talk a little bit about Lent. Lent is about identifying with the temptation and the suffering of Jesus Christ before we celebrate the resurrection on Easter. And so the 40 days leading up to Easter, the church has historically entered into a season of self-denial, of fasting, and of focusing on Jesus bearing the weight of sin and death for those of us who are in Christ. And so that usually begins with Ash Wednesday, where there's a focus on our mortality and on the weight of the brokenness of sin in our own lives. And then Ash Wednesday leads all the way through Lent until Holy Week, the week before Easter. And so that starts with Palm Sunday, and then Palm Sunday gives way to Maundy Thursday, and then Maundy Thursday gives way to Good Friday, and then there's Holy Saturday, and finally what probably everyone is most familiar with is Easter Sunday morning, where we celebrate the resurrection of Christ from death, conquering sin, conquering your sin and my sin, past, present, and future, fully, freely, and forever. And so Lent is one of those things that helps orient our hearts so that Easter doesn't sneak up on us. It helps us orient our hearts around the weight of sin and death so that we might rejoice all the more on Easter morning. And so I want to just kind of quickly encapsulate the things that we're talking about here. The season of Lent is about self-denial. So most people enter into some kind of fast in that. It's about orienting our hearts around the temptation and suffering of Jesus Christ. And it's about preparing our hearts to rejoice more fully at the resurrection. So we don't practice self-denial for denial's sake. We don't fast for fasting's sake. We're trying to, with our bodies and our minds and our hearts, enter into the story of Christ's redeeming work for us and feel things and sense things and wire ourselves and our communities in such a way that when Easter Sunday morning rolls around, there is a celebration. It is not snuck up on us, but there is a celebration of Christ's victory over sin and death forever.